Welcome everybody to the first in our series, our October series 2022 of the Vegetarian Way cooking demonstrations. And we have been looking forward to putting these on again due to the pandemic and all those kind of things. It sort of put us right back, and so we're really glad to be able to meet together in this capacity to put these demonstrations on again for you. For those who have not been here before, just to fill you in a little bit, we are a Christian church here in Schofields. We meet here each Saturday mornings, and this is just something that we do for the general community around us, just as an outreach to share the good news of health, the gospel of health, if you like. That, we have a wonderful human machinery created by our wonderful Creator, and this is all about how we can best take care of that body with adequate nutrition, the right kind of nutrition, and all other things associated with health. And so that's what it's all about, and we hope you gain a blessing, and that these recipes prepared tonight, you'll take them home, and they'll prove just as delicious as you'll find tonight, so I'm sure. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, we have the toilets, public toilets. There's two toilets here at the back behind me. As you go out the doors here, turn to the right and you'll see the two toilets there. There is, if they're occupied, there are toilets downstairs underneath where I am. So down the stairs here, around, just keep walking around to your right and through the door, and then to the left you'll see the toilets there. So that's for the toilets. If there is a fire, I don't think there's going to be a fire tonight, but if there is a fire, we have the exit doors. Just make your way out into the courtyard area there on the grass, okay? Just as far away from the building as possible if there happens to be a fire. All right, we have, I don't think there's anything else at the moment. That's, oh yeah, that's right. Now, anything on this list that you find a bit maybe, well, where do I get that from? Well, I'll encourage you to check out our Elim store down below. At the end of this building, if you go down the stairs here, as you go outside, underneath the coverway, down the stairs, and at the end of the building here, you'll see the store there, the entryway to the store. Now that's a health store. We have some bulk foods there, as well as just general health things that you might not get in the supermarket. Okay, so if you'd like to have a look at that it's open after this cooking demonstration, you can go downstairs, take a look at what we have down there. And if you feel you might incline to try something out, by all means, spend your money down there. All right? Okay. So the girls will be happy to help you out with any questions you might have on any of the products there as well. So tonight we have the Vegetarian Way. We have 4 recipes on demonstration tonight. Before we do, each week that we're going to conduct this, we'll have a short health talk beforehand. Tonight we're happy to have Alfredo Sass with us, and he's going to present a short talk on why I am a vegetarian from his own experience. Okay, now just so you know, all these recipes tonight, I understand, are vegan recipes. Okay, do we have any vegans here? Oh, quite a few. Great. All right. So therefore, they're all vegan recipes. That's correct, yeah? Including honey, or is the honey on there? Or there's no honey in there. No honey tonight. Okay, so that's all vegan recipes, and we hope you enjoy them all. So with this now, I'd like to invite Alfredo to come forth, and he'll share his little talk with you on why am I a vegetarian. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How many of you are here for the first time? Welcome. I want to introduce myself. My name is Alfredo Carlos Sass. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a naturopath. I am not a dietitian, but I can consider myself as a health educator. I am a retired minister of religion and a writer of books and booklets. One of my books about health is this one here. Unfortunately, we do not have any more in the hardcover, but we have in the soft cover. Is available right here. And about 60 years ago, I was traveling in a bus in Brazil, and next to me there was a gentleman, and he looked to my hand that I was bandaged, and he asked me what happened. So I told him what happened, and on that we started talking about health. And one lady just behind us shouted out, he said, "How can you live without eating meat?" I answered back, "That's not a surprise. But I am surprised that people eat meat and still live." I said, "That is a surprise. Because if you would give a vegetarian animal meat, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and so, I think that animal would die. Don't you think so? But men still do that. However, the result is not very pleasant. But he has to put up with sickness. Well, I was not a vegetarian all my life. From my birth up to age of 12, I was almost vegetarian. I say almost because about 2 or 3 times a year in our home we ate chicken or beef. But for the last 78 years, I am vegetarian. And I am happy to share with you the reason why I am a vegetarian. Have you ever seen a horse running after a chicken to catch it, to eat it? I don't think so. Or have you seen a cow walking on the banks of the river to catch a fish, to eat it? You haven't. I haven't seen it. But if that would happen, it would be advertised everywhere in the world. That was something, a phenomenon. But have you seen a person doing that? Yes, you have seen man or a woman or a person running after chicken, catch it, to eat it, or fishing to eat the fish. You have seen that. And it's not advertised anywhere, not publicized in the news. And why? You know why some animals which are vegetarians, they do not eat meat? It is because of their nature. By nature, the horse, the cow, the ox, the goat, sheep, camel, and so forth, they are vegetarians. And there is a big difference between the vegetarian animals and the meat eaters. Let me give you some information about the nature of animals. The meat eaters, like dogs, cats, lions, tigers, and so forth, they have curved claws. The vegetarian animals, like the horse, the cow, the camel, and so forth, they had flat nails, or no claws. And what about our nails? What is it like? We don't have claws. So that indicates that by nature, we are not meat eaters. Our nails shows that. What about the teeth? The meat eater animals, they have fangs to tear, round and sharp fangs. The vegetarian animals, they have flat teeth. And what is our teeth like? Flat. So our teeth shows that we are not meat eaters by nature. The teeth shows that. The gland of saliva of the vegetarian animals are big ones, 3 pairs. And so have ours. It's the same. The meat-eater animals, they have also 3 pairs, but very reduced. And you have seen that the vegetarian animals, when they eat, they chew and chew and chew. But the meat eaters, they swallow. So our glands of saliva tells us that we are not meat eaters. The intestines, it is of the vegetarian animals are long, and so is ours. Of the meat eaters, the intestines are short. So all constitution, physical constitution, our constitution, physical constitution tells us that we are not meat eaters by nature. The meat eater animals, like the lion, the tiger, and so forth, they prefer to eat an animal which is vegetarian. For example, the lion does not run after the tiger or after the wolf or panther. They run after a vegetarian animal because they need vegetarianism secondhand. And another interesting thing is that the meat eaters, the animals, the meat eaters, they are all wild, savage, but the vegetarian animals, they are quiet and tame. They can become excited if they are teased. Man can make them also wild, but by nature they are tame. Interesting that when you put on a table some fruit or vegetable, You can keep that on the table 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And they do not attract the flies. But when it starts decomposing, then it attracts the flies. The flies come. Now, what happens when they kill an animal? Within a few minutes, are full of flies. You know why? Because between 8 to 15 minutes, the flesh starts decomposing. And therefore, people who eat meat within 8 minutes, they eat fresh meat. But if he eats it after 8 minutes or 15 minutes, they eat flesh in a state of decomposition. And that dead matter cannot bring life. Interesting that one day I was talking to one butcher, and he told me that he had quite a few butcher shops. And I said to him, then you know how to choose the meat. And he smiled and said, I am a vegetarian. I said, you are a butcher and you are vegetarian. He said, I am a butcher just because of money. It's a good business. But I am vegetarian because I know what kind of meat people eat. And he told me that when a cow or an ox is sick, is sold immediately to the butcher. And they kill it and people eat. Now, I asked people, why do you eat meat? And some of them said, oh, I work very hard and I need a strong food. Well, that is a mistake. The elephant doesn't eat meat and it's strong. The ox doesn't eat meat, it's strong. The horse is strong, doesn't eat meat. To be strong, you don't need to eat meat. A matter of fact, I have read that in some part of Siberia, in Russia, the shepherds ride on horses, and when the wolf comes to catch the sheep, he runs after the wolf, sitting on the horse, riding on the horse, until the wolf gets tired and falls down, and he comes and kills it. And the horse doesn't get tired with the rider on it. So to obtain strength, you do not need to eat meat. When I ask other people, why do you eat meat? They say, oh, I eat meat because meat has protein, and we need protein in our bodies. Admittedly, meat has protein. Only 18% protein. However, dry beans has 22% of protein. peanuts, especially raw peanuts, has 25% protein. Soybeans has from 35 to 42% protein. So in order to get protein, you do not need to eat meat. A matter of fact, half a kilo of soybeans is equivalent in proteins to 1 kilo of meat, 30 eggs, and 6 liters of milk. So if you want to have protein, the best source of protein is soybeans. Then I asked other people, tell me, why do you eat meat? He said, oh, I like it. Meat is very tasteful. Well, I could not agree with that. Because if you take meat and drain out all blood from the meat and boil it in pure water, no salt, no seasoning, try and see what is it like. So meat does not have a good taste. What makes taste to the meat is the blood that is in it. But according to the Bible, blood should never be eaten. And plus the seasoning that's put in the preparation of meat is that makes it tasteful. Then you can use the same seasoning with other things, and it becomes equally tasteful. So, the taste can be degenerated and can be educated. I would consider that the taste for eating meat is not an educated taste, but a degenerated taste. Since my time is nearly over, I want to tell you an event that took place in Brazil. One man, a colporteur is a person who sells books from house to house and sells Bibles and so forth. He was traveling in a long distance on a train, and one gentleman with his little son sat next to him. And in those days, it was tolerated to smoke in the bus or in the train or in any public transportation. So he took out his cigarette and he offered to this man a cigarette. He said, "Thank you very much, I do not smoke." And then they continued the trip. They went further, and then he took out a sandwich of meat sandwich. And he offered again to him. He said, "Oh, thank you very much, I do not eat meat." And he was shocked. And then he whispered in the ear of his son, he said, "Ask this gentleman why he doesn't smoke and why he does not eat meat." Now, he gave a very rough answer, but he said, "Tell your dad that I do not smoke because my nose is not a chimney. And I do not eat meat because my stomach is not a cemetery. And so that man went home, and he was worried about those expressions. The nose, chimney, the stomach, a cemetery. And he decided, said, you know what, from today on, I am no longer following this practice. I quit smoking, and I quit eating meat. My stomach is no longer a cemetery. When I was watching with my wife in the nursing home, I saw that the patients and all people were served twice a day with meat. And immediately I remembered that experience of that man in Brazil. They are burying the dead body in their stomach. So, in conclusion, I suggest never bury the dead in your stomach. Bury it in the ground. And since I am a vegetarian, I thank God that He had given me health and strength. And for the last 78 years, I am vegetarian. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfredo. First in our program of cooking demonstrations tonight is super easy gluten-free buns. Okay, and Rosetta is going to take us through that recipe tonight. So I'd like to welcome Rosetta to come forward. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's been so long, hasn't it? It's so good to have us all back here again. It's been, over 2 years. Was it last year we wanted to try again, but obviously didn't go ahead? Now I can talk with my hands. Okay, it's awesome to be back here again, and I'm so glad those of you who have been previously that we can all come together again, and welcome to all those who are here for the first time, and hoping that we can all learn something together and learn something from each other. One thing that I'm demonstrating tonight is super easy gluten-free buns. Sometimes you just need to eat something that's, not made with wheat flour, and not made, that doesn't have gluten in it. And this is surprisingly very easy and also really good. It tastes good. I feel sorry for those who can't have almonds, because this is made with almond meal. So, but it's super, super easy. So we'll start firstly with all our dry ingredients. And the first thing is almond meal. So what it is, if you don't have almond meal, you can just get almonds and put them through a blender, and you end up with almond meal. So it's a bit coarser than flour. It's not like almond flour. It's a little bit coarser. It's sort of like the consistency of breadcrumbs. So it's just a matter of putting your almond meal into a bowl, followed by the secret ingredient, psyllium husks. Can anyone tell me what psyllium husks are? Anyone know what psyllium husks are? Anybody? Can you get the packet of the psyllium husks? It's very good fibre, yes, it's very good fibre. And it's and what happens when you use it is that it actually absorbs moisture and swells. So and then it's very good soluble fibre, which is important for your gut, okay? Because it's very easy to help with elimination. Whereas you can get fibres that aren't soluble and they're a little bit rougher and a bit tougher and you can't digest them, whereas this stuff is much easier to digest. So we've got psyllium husks. Yeah, you can get it from Coles in the health food section. It says it helps maintain healthy cholesterol levels, maintains a healthy digestive system, it's easy to take, it's gentler than bran to your intestines, has no sugar, no additives, gluten-free, and it's mildly laxative. Okay, so it's good for you. I don't know. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read the rest of it on the back, what it says. Yeah. So anyway, that's it's a natural product. It's a plant-based. Oh no, that's fine. So that's that. So we've got a quarter of a cup of psyllium husks. It's just a matter of adding it to the almond meal. And then we've got just a touch of salt, quarter of a teaspoon of salt. But that you can, to your taste, whether you like bread a little bit saltier or not. It's just a matter of mixing the ingredients together. And then we have to mix together our wet ingredients. So I've got another bowl here. I'm going to get some water. That's warm. This is good. So we're going to get a cup of water, warm water. I made the mistake earlier, and I don't know whether it was a mistake actually. I put everything together in the bowl, in the one bowl, and mixed it all together. And it sort of went a bit gluggy and a bit funny, and Lydia's saying, I don't think that that's quite right. And I thought, okay, we'll make another batch and we'll do it separate, you know. But when we actually baked both of them, the first one that I made the mistake on seemed to turn out better. So I don't know whether it was better or not. So we've got a cup of water. And one of the mistakes I made, that the water was too hot. No, this is good. And then, yes, please, can we have the mic?
The psyllium that she showed you is made from a plant called liverwort. It's in this book. It's the plant number 118.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we've got warm water, cup of warm water, and a tablespoon of olive oil. Just whisk it up a bit to combine it. Doesn't combine very well, but Doesn't need much. Make a well in the middle. And just mix it together. So it comes together quite easily, and it's, I don't know how to explain the consistency. It sort of holds together but doesn't hold together, but it's a bit soft, but it's good because once it sits, the longer it sits, the better the psyllium husk seems to combine it and to hold it together. And then the easy part. I had a spoon here. Grab this one. It's just a matter of making a little ball, rounding it off, and putting it on your baking tray. So it holds together quite well. Obviously, you can make it as big as you like or as small as you like. This was a good sort of size for tonight so that we could all try it. And then you bake it in the oven for 30-35 minutes, and it'll actually puff up a bit and swell up, and it'll change colour. And here is what they actually look like when they're done. So they're nice and brown. They look like they're wholemeal. So you can try it. 30 to 35 minutes in the oven, 180 degrees. And on your plate, you've got some guacamole, which I'm going to show you next how to do. Everyone's smelling it. My husband does that. He doesn't eat anything until he smells it. Does it smell like bread? What do you think? Yeah? Okay, it's all coming out. Kids are coming. So it makes quite a big batch, it's just 1 3/4 cups of almond meal. So it makes, well, depending on the size that you make them, obviously. So on your plate you've got avar. Anyone know what avar is? That's the relish that you've got on your plate. It's made from capsicums mainly capsicums, I think. And eggplant. Not all the time. Not all the time. You can make it with eggplant. Anyway, they sell the avar down in the shop downstairs in the jars. Yeah, you can get it a little bit spicy if you like it, with a bit of hot pepper in it, or hot peppers. Spicy. Okay, nearly done with this.
Is it all right? Yeah? Very easy to make, hey?
It's quick and easy. It's not like, oh no, I don't have anything gluten-free,
And now I've got to knead it for hours and wait till it rises.
Yeah, so it's really, really quick and easy, and I've really liked it. I thought it really tastes good. It's actually very comparable with bread, even though it's just almonds and psyllium husks. Really, there's nothing much in it. Okay, this last one's going to be a big one.
Always a big one somewhere, isn't it?
Okay. that's that. I'll go wash my hands and then I'll come back and do, or you do want to do the next one?
You can do the next one.
All right.
I'll take all this.
I'll just go wash my hands. And,
Do you want to bake this or leave it here like that? Bake it until the end?
yeah, we can put it in the oven.
How's it taste? Good? There you go. No, I haven't. Okay, so are you next?
No, she's coming
Oh,
back
she's coming
to
back.
do the guacamole.
All right, guacamole.
Yeah, that's the green avocado spread that you had on your...
Who likes guacamole? Yeah? Yeah, corn chips and guacamole, that's what I like. And garlic, yeah. Corn chips, guacamole, garlic bread. Okay, so, nice. And the avar, just in case you... Who likes avar? Have you had the avar? Yeah? Okay. This avar is from downstairs. Yeah, so we have a mild and a hot avar in large jars in the shop downstairs if you want to take some home tonight. Croatia, Macedonia. Okay. Okay, former Yugoslavia. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's just as good. Just as good the next day. I don't know, we didn't try freezing it, but you could probably freeze it too because, you know, there's not much there that can break down if you freeze it. So I'm sure that you could freeze it as well if need be. So, you could probably make it with dates even or something, so like a scone, or you could put raisins or anything like that if you like it sweet. You could probably put, as Veronica mentioned, it's neutral flavoured, yeah, it's just like bread, so you can either have it, you know, with something sweet or with savoury. You can obviously add more flavours, you can add herbs to it maybe, so it's like a herby bread, you know, like Italian herbs or some oregano or even some caraway seeds, or you could garnish it with seeds like sesame seeds or something like that. You can garnish it. Poppy seeds even. Yeah, here's some here that we've made earlier.
This was, Marianne made this on Friday. I'm not going to give it to you in case something's, you know, you get something and then you think, oh, it must be that bread. But it's still okay. But what I would advise, when you make it, if you want to keep it for a few days, put it in the freezer. And then just take it out as you need it. When you need it, take it out, yes.
Psyllium Husks, you can buy it at Coles.
You can get it in Coles, you can get it in Woolworths, in the health section. You can get it downstairs in our shop. We've got them there tonight if you want to take some home. Yeah.
Health food shops.
Any health food shop would have it, yeah. There is also psyllium powder. If you can't get the husks, you can use powder. It would make it slightly darker because it's a little bit more concentrated. Maybe don't put as much in, but you can use the powder as well, yeah. But if you want to freshen it up like this, before I eat it, I'll put it in the oven and just heat it up, and it just freshens up. It's good.
Yeah, that's the jar of avar that we have downstairs. There's many. You go to delicatessens, they have a lot of avars, different brands, you know, but it's essentially the same sort of thing. Okay. So I'll just demonstrate how we made the guacamole or the avocado dip, which is also another very easy thing to do and to make. Just some good ripe avocados. They reckon that how to test if your avocados are ripe, that you know how it has a little thing on the top the little, after it's been picked, the end, if you pick that off, and if it's green inside or yellowish, then it's okay. If it's dark brown, then it's usually overripe. And you want to buy an avocado, it's better to buy them hard and let them ripen on your bench than it is to buy a soft one, because it's probably bruised or something already because from the handling. So if you buy it hard and let it ripen on your bench top, and when it's just tender, like to the push of your hand, then it's perfect to eat. So, and avocados, are really good for you. They're full of fat, but it's good fat, and it's something that is very, it's good for your digestion, and it's really good. It's not a fat that will make you fat. Look at that, beautiful. Butter on a tree, so good. And you can plant the seed too if you want. You can plant it and you'll get a tree out of it. It'll take a few years, but you can grow them. I love just avocado on bread, with a bit of salt, and it's just yum. Perfect. So this is very easy, only a few ingredients as well. Just avocado, smashed up, bit of garlic, and a bit of lemon juice. The lemon juice adds to the flavour, but it's also a preservative because the lemon juice helps it so it doesn't go brown, so it doesn't look awful, so it keeps the colour. Then it's just a matter of mashing it up. You just use a potato masher or a fork. You can have it as rustic or as smooth as you want. You can add other things in here. I would never add coriander because I hate coriander, but I always fight with Lydia actually because she loves it, And a little bit of cayenne pepper's good too, yeah, I can take that. But I hate coriander. All right, so it's just mashing it up. We've got 1 clove of garlic for 2 avocados. Yeah, you can make it stronger if you like. Oh, it's not a very good masher, but anyway, no good. Squeeze a lemon. Doesn't need much, just a squeeze. But of course you can add more if you like. And then a sprinkle of salt. But again, you don't have to put the salt in if you don't want to, because avocado is really yum on its own too. And I've just put a lemon pip in here. And that's it. And that's beautiful on this bread or any bread. It's really good. Ready to go. Easy, quick and easy. And that's such a nice snack to have. Like the bread is so easy to make. And yeah, really yum. All good. That's it from me tonight. Okay. Lydia.
Who's going to make that tomorrow? Going to try that? Yeah? That's nice, eh? Okay, Lydia, you're up next.
I'm up next.
Okay. So Lydia is going to now demonstrate a lima bean open pie.
We call it lima.
Lima
here.
bean open pie, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Right.
Okay.
Lima beans, lima bean open pie.
Yep. Okay, in other words, it's just a shepherd's pie but made with lima beans. Has anyone not seen a lima bean or lima beans? Do you know what it looks like? I'll pass this around. Have a look. Okay. Pass it down the back. It's like a big white bean. And no. Lima beans are a low-fat source of healthy, complex carbs, fibre and protein. So it's really good for you. And it's one of these, it's very rich in potassium, iron, magnesium and vitamin C. It also has zinc. So it's a pretty good bean to eat. Now, I usually soak my beans the night before or for a few hours with some cold water. And if I'm in a hurry, I'll put boiling water and just soak it a bit less time. But the lima beans has got a really thick skin on it. So when you soak it, sometimes the skin comes off and it's very easy to take the skin off. So sometimes the skin on the beans produces gas. And if you have a problem with your stomach and you want to alleviate some of that, just peel off that skin. And it literally just pops. It's very, very easy to do. Especially these lima beans are very, very fresh. So you can. But I haven't done that. I haven't gone through and taken out all the skins tonight for this demonstration because we're trying to work out an easy and quick way of doing things so that you don't have to stay in the kitchen all day to produce something that's good. So we're just going to do a very quick and simple version of this pie. And I've got 2 trays. I'm a bit selfish here. Okay. Oops, sorry, I didn't realise you're behind me. I'm so sorry. Okay. I've cooked the almond beans. Once I've soaked, you wash it and rinse it. And then I put, I did quite a bit. I did a double bit. But you put some water until it's about that much on top of your beans when you put it in a saucepan. And then a little bit of salt, and it takes about 30 minutes for it to cook. And this is pretty much already cooked. I'll just get a fork, a spoon, something. And this is what it looks like. I'll try and get one bean. That's how big it is. Once it's, oops, hang on, let me stab it. Let me see if I can stab it so I can hold it up right. Okay, that's better. Okay, where have I got? Oh, here we go. Can you see it? How far down? That's it? Okay. Anyway, it's pretty big, isn't it? So that's once it's been cooked, it just expands more. So for the purpose of tonight being a quick demonstration, we've already pre-cooked the lima beans, and I'm just going to put it together for you to see how it's all done. It's a very quick and easy thing to do. I'll just undo all my lids. While the lima beans are actually cooking, you can chop up your onion and your capsicum and the things that you're going to be using. And I'm going to put in this saucepan. I'll just dry it. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use olive oil because it's really good for you. Or I've used some rice bran oil. So I'll put hopefully the stove will work. I haven't tried it before. Yay! Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of oil into the saucepan, and I'll saute my onion and garlic a little bit together. Now while I'm doing this, I also have some potatoes boiling that I've peeled and I've put to boil because the top of it is, as you can see, it's mashed potato. So that's out the back cooking away, so we can mash it up. So I just saute the onion and then I add the garlic, and just practically, what I've got here is red, yellow and green capsicums, just for colour. It's amazing how vegetables can look so pretty, eh? It just gives it a really lovely colour, and the flavours are great. The yellow capsicum is a little bit mild, it's not so strong, and it's a bit sweeter as well, and it's really nice to use. Can you smell the onion? And you usually know when someone's doing something. Like this afternoon, we had a funeral this morning, and then this afternoon when we came to start cooking, it just didn't smell right in the kitchen until we started to cook you put some onion on, and straight away, oh, something's happening here. You can smell that nice aroma. Okay, so I've put, you can use your judgment how much garlic you put in. I've put 2 cloves, 2 large cloves or 4 small ones. Sorry? Yes, you can. Yes. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Use any bean you like. Yep. You can use black bean, you can use borlotti beans, you can use any of the beans that you like. If you don't have time to cook, you can buy the tin beans and just rinse it, wash it, tip the water out, rinse it, and then you can use that as well. So that makes it a lot quicker. How's that? It's getting a nice coat on it. And I'll just then tip all the capsicums into it. And just cook it for a couple of minutes, or even 5 minutes or so. Because once you put it all together, then I will do the potatoes on top, and I'll put it back in the oven for about 30 minutes or so to get that nice brown golden colour on the potato. So that will still cook a little bit more once it's in the oven. So even if it's semi-raw, it's okay because it'll still cook a second time round. Look at those colours. Aren't they brilliant? They're just so pretty. If you have, I'm using diced tomatoes in a can, but you are very welcome to peel your own tomatoes and put fresh tomatoes in. And at home, that's what I did. I just washed my tomatoes, peeled it, and chopped it up, and it was really delicious. So there's nothing like fresh, fresh is best. But if you don't have time, again, these things come in very handy. Canned foods can be really helpful when we're in a hurry. So, thank you. Now I've got 140 grams of tomato paste. I usually buy the little 2 little containers of tomato paste. And I find that's really handy because sometimes I don't like to put it in the fridge and then you forget about it and you don't use it all. So this is 140 grams I think on here. So I just use one of these and then it's done. You don't have to store it away. And it's very hard to open. Does anyone find that? So I always need a knife to help opening that up. Well, this is looking really good. So I'll add my tomatoes. And that's what it looks like. It's looking really lovely. I wish I had a glass saucepan so you could see inside because it's really beautiful. I've also added a couple of tablespoons or 1.5 or whatever you like of, this is Marcel chicken style stock powder. Now that's 100% vegan, vegetarian, the Marcel brand, and you can get them in the supermarkets. You can also get it downstairs. And while I'm talking about our shop downstairs, unfortunately, I put an order in for Psyllium Husks, and the order came today, but they didn't have any in stock. So I'm sorry about that. You'll have to go to Coles or Woolies to get that, but we should have it next week if you so desire to get it. And I'll put in the tomato paste. Oh, it's looking delicious. It really is. Even just like that on toast. Look. It is so yum. That's if you like capsicums. When I was a little girl, I didn't like capsicums, so I wouldn't have liked it, but somehow now I really, really enjoy it. And I'll add a couple of tablespoons of chopped parsley. I use the continental parsley because it seems to have more flavour. So that's my preferred parsley. And also thyme. Just a couple of 2 or 3 little stems, sprigs of thyme. And we just pulled it apart so that it's loose. Just add that. And now that that's done, we just add, I'll add that into here because then you can see what's happening once I mix it up. But I'll just unstick some of these lima beans. Can you see that? I'll move that over a bit. Okay. With this one, I only soaked it for like an hour because I was in a hurry. I didn't soak it this morning, so it still worked okay. I can switch that off. And I'll mix that into here. And it's just absolutely yummy, look. Beans are a very, very high source of protein. You've heard Alfredo talk about how soybeans has a lot of very high in protein. And yeah, so it's very important to introduce beans to your diet, whichever way you can. I come from Brazil, so our main food in Brazil is rice and beans. That's our daily, you know how you've got your potato here or your spaghetti in Italy? Well, Brazil is rice and beans. And it's a very good, strong source of protein. And the rice with the beans, apparently it makes it 100%, they kind of complement each other. So it's a complete source of protein, they say. So I'm used to having beans. All my life I've been eating beans. Although the beans that they have in Brazil is just the, it's like a bologna beans or, you know, the brown beans. But, yeah. So here goes a tray full of protein and goodness that, you know, you can just prepare it. You can prepare this in advance. Like, if you want to have this for tea tomorrow night, I would just mix it all together, put it in your tray, and then just do your mashed potatoes at the last minute. Or even you can put the mashed potatoes on it and then just put the whole thing in the oven just before you want to eat it. And it's nice and it'll be nice. So just put it into your tray. I think this tray is going to be a bit too small for this, but I was thinking to get something that's see-through so you can see what's happening here. So I'm only going to be using half of this amount, and then I'll top it up with mashed potatoes, and I'll get the mashed potatoes from out the back. Thank you, Rosetta. Any questions? No? Did you like it? Yeah? Oh, that's good. I'm going to mash the potatoes, and then I'll put it on the top, and then put that in the oven for about 30 minutes. You can still put the potato together and just put it in the fridge, and then take it out of the fridge in the oven for 30 minutes or so, just to give it that brown look. And I said to my daughter, I said, I think we need to clean the sides of this dish. And she said, Mum, this is really trendy. That's how they, it's authentic. It's really, and it's rustic, and it just looks, and I'm thinking, not in my days. But then I asked a few people, and they said, no, that's the way it looks really good, the rustic look. So that's what it was. No. Take the water out of the potatoes and then mash it up. And I just put a little bit of vegan butter or margarine. And you can put olive oil if you don't want to use margarine. A lot of people don't like to use the margarine. A little bit of olive oil and a little bit of soy milk just to make it creamy. And then just spread it on the top. So she's just giving me that. Oh, thank you. Is that going to burn that? Do it like this, yeah, good. So we've got just potatoes and salt, like you would normally mash potatoes, do potato mash. Sorry? Oh. You can, yeah. Yes, definitely. You can use canned beans, and you can use the cannellini beans, you can use whatever, yep. No, if it's in a can, yes, if it's in a can, it's already cooked, and you just tip the water out into a sieve, like tip the whole can into a sieve, and then just rinse it with a bit of water, yeah, and let the water drain, and then you can just use it, yeah. No. No, the can's already cooked. The reason we soak it because it's very hard, like I don't know where it is, they're very hard. So, yeah, here they are. They're really solid hard. So you soak them so that it softens them up, it hydrates them, and then it's easy and quicker to cook. But you can actually put this in a pressure cooker and cook it without soaking. But the soaking it does take longer, yeah. And the soaking is just helpful. I'm going to just put a little bit of this butter in here. And a little bit of milk. I don't know how you do your mashed potatoes, but I think this just makes it creamier. This is soy milk, yes. None of these products that we have here are dairy. If you do eat dairy, you can use dairy, but we try to promote plant-based foods. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, that's all done. So just put that on top of the potatoes, as so. I just put little bits because it's easier to spread, because if I try to spread it like, put in a big lump, it'll go in the middle and then it's hard to spread. You drag the food with it. Pardon? It is, yes. It's a lima bean version of shepherd's pie. Yep, exactly. You can also add other vegetables if you like. If you want to add zucchinis to it or any other vegetables that you like, you can add to it. You don't have to stick with capsicums. You can Yeah, just whatever. Okay. You can put carrots, you can put peas, whatever you like. But because it's already it's a bean, the bulk of it is beans, I think it's better if you just, like don't put peas or things that are in the bean or green beans or anything like that. You don't need it. Yeah, that's the word, legumes. I'm trying to think of the word. Thank you, Paul. Excuse me for a second. And then I just do a pattern. Just, on top, however you like to decorate it or something. But this, when you put it in the oven, it kind of like gives you little crisp bits for it to brown. So, yes, that's our lima bean pie. And now I'm just going to go, how are we going for time? Oh, good, we've still got a few more minutes. I'm just going into dessert. Now, this is absolutely a no-brainer, really. Very, very easy. If you've got, I know that usually we have old bread that stays around, and I either use it for making, I chop them up and make little cubes, and I use it as croutons, or sometimes I make like a bread pudding, or sometimes, there's always something you can use with old bread, and this is one of them. This is one thing that you can use. And it's all very, very easy. It's a matter of putting your bread and everything in the blender, blending it up and pouring it on. You'll see how quick it is. Put that there. Okay. You can't see that if I leave that there, can you? I'll put that this side. All right. Maybe, yes, thank you. This and this can go. Yep. Okay, so we've got, it doesn't matter how many pieces of bread you put in, approximately 10 pieces of bread. It can be from white bread to brown bread to any bread. Just cut it up in chunks. However, it doesn't matter if you do it straight or if you do it whichever way. Put it in a bowl. Sometimes people do this by buttering the slices of bread, but we're going to eliminate that step because we want to use a little bit of butter but not too much. So we'll just leave that as it is, just the plain bread. Sourdough bread makes it nice bread pudding, and so does the continental, the continental crusty bread. That also gives it the crust. The crust in it is really nice. Thank you, Ro. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to blend in the blender a couple of cans of coconut cream. You can get that anywhere. Any supermarket will sell coconut cream. You can use almond milk, you can use any other, instead of coconut cream? Yes, you can, you can. But then what I would do is I would put a little bit extra cashews because the coconut cream is a little bit thicker, it's got more body in it, so just a little handful of cashews extra into it. And then put your almond milk or your whatever other milk you have that you want to use. Just get a spoon. This one here is from Aldi, and the Aldi one is quite, as you can see, it separates quite a bit, and it's quite rich. It's quite creamy, but any of them will work. So put 2 tins, and don't forget your spoon in the blender jar because I've done that once before. And lucky I've got a Vitamix. And I put it on, I thought, that sounds fun. Quick, switch it off. And I had a look and my spoon was still intact and the blender was still intact. So that was so fortunate. Yeah. If you shake it up, sometimes it mixes it up, but the Aldi brand, for some reason, it's particularly, it's harder than other brands. Thank you. And then I'm going to add some sugar, 3/4 of a cup of coconut sugar. Now, if you don't want to use any sugar whatsoever, you can actually put maple syrup, but you will have to put extra nuts as well, because it'll mean that there's more liquid in the container. The sugar doesn't really. You can put dates. Yes, you can. You can put dates in as well instead of the coconut sugar. Yep, yep. And I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of cashews. So if you were doing like another milk without the cream, you could put perhaps like 3/4 of a cup. Yeah. So just a little bit extra cashews. And I'm going to put 1 tablespoon. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It's optional if you don't want to, you don't need it. And 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. That's also optional. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. So that's. And inside with the bread, I'm going to toss in some raisins into the bread. And I'm going to blend all this in the blender and just mix it all up together. So just excuse the noise for a minute. And this is the coconut sugar that I bought, and I found it just at the normal supermarket. So it's got a little bit of, it's like it's got a bit of molasses. The coconut sugar's got like a little bit, it's a bit more raw, and it tastes like it's got molasses in it. A little bit darker. Melted butter. I think I left it out there. Melted butter, so I can. Have a look. Just a little bit more. Has anyone here got a Vitamix? Some do. It's really, really good because sometimes you don't need to soak. Like some of the places they say soak the nuts before you blend it to help with the blending so it doesn't make it so hard on your machine. But if you've got a Vitamix, I'm not getting any money for this, but if you do have a Vitamix, it's really helpful. So, and then we just pour that into there. So if you do use dates, it will be, still put it into here. Perhaps just slice up the dates a little bit so that it doesn't churn up so hard on your machine. Thank you. And just mix that up. Make sure that all the bread's coated nicely in that mess. It looks like I'm playing with mud and water mix. Coconut oil. I didn't put any in this one, but You don't need it, no. I have got coconut oil here. That is, I've put it in a hot water so that it melts because it's really solid. It is solid. And I don't like to put it on the stove, so I just boil up the kettle, pour it in water, and then it's liquid and you can use it. But I didn't even use it for this lot, and it's okay. Now we'll put this in the tray, in a baking tray. I'll line it with baking paper so that when it comes out it's easy to cut. And you can serve this with vegan cream, if you make vegan cream, or custard or anything like that. It looks like a mess, but it's really nice. It doesn't taste like it looks. It's quite flavoursome. They're coming. They're coming. No, we won't let you go home without a sample. Okay, just pat the top of it so it's level. And then you can, or if you choose not to, you don't have to, just baste it with some melted margarine or some olive oil if you like, or you can simply just leave it. And when it's finished baking, you do the same, just a slight basting of melted margarine or olive oil. Yep. It just gives it a nice coat and it makes it crispy. So the top will be crisp. It just crisps it up. So we bake that now for about 35 minutes. 35, depending on your oven. 35 to 45, depending on your oven, how hot and how... I found the oven here gets very hot on the top and not on the bottom because there's several layers, where at home it bakes differently. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, it is. It's a little bit different. Mine's electric at home, so yeah, there's a difference. Yeah. Any questions? No? Well, if you just be a little bit patient, your dessert's coming out. But this is what it looks like when it's done. And if you want to put a little bit of, like if you want to put a bit of cream or custard or something with it, it's really delicious. Really, really nice. So I hope you enjoy our presentation tonight. And I hope you go home and think, oh, that was easy enough for me to make it. And you enjoy making it. And not only making it, but you enjoy eating it and being healthy. So thank you very much for coming. Yes. They're waiting for samples. They're not going home unless we have samples. Yeah, it's coming, Paul. Paul's our sweet tooth.
Usually you'll have to clap after the samples, you know.
After the samples.
You may not
Thank
like them.
you. Thank you very much.
I wait for this part.
And it's lovely to meet some of the new faces. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It's been really, really lovely having you here tonight. We were thinking this morning, I live on the other side of the bridge, Windsor and Richmond Bridge, and I thought, I don't know if we're going to make it in there tonight. What are we going to do? I'm going to have to drive all the way around to Mount Victoria and then down past Bathurst, Blackheath, and come down that way. And it's a fair way. And I'm thinking, maybe we should call it off. I thought, no. And lucky, someone was looking after us. The bridge was open, so I went through, but the water was like, the bridge is there and the water was just under, like that. Yeah. So, I'm sorry it took so long for the dessert to come out.
Okay, just save one of those for me, Naya. All right, just make sure you save one. Okay.
My hands are sticky.
And this is the one here, is it?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Oh, this one here is garnished with strawberries on top. Isn't that looks really nice? Look at that one there. Yeah, that'll be mine. Thanks. All right. Oh, you got one there. Thank you. Thank you very much. That'll be
And
mine.
thank you, boys, for waitressing tonight.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, boys.
This is my grandson Levi. Levi's 7. And my other little grandson is 3. Some of you have seen him when he was a baby, yeah? We haven't had this for a while now because of COVID, so one person said to me, "Oh, is this the baby?" I said, "Yeah, this is the baby. This is Levi, Zachy. This is Zachariah John. Say hello." He's gone shy. Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. You can take that. You can hold it.
Okay, do you like that? It's nice.
Did everyone
That's
get
good.
one?
Yep, all good.
Yeah, that's good. And Rosetta, she's been my top lady. We've been together now for a few years, 20 years or something. And then my daughter, Amy, and Tanya, she's our right hand in the office too. And Stella and Deborah. Now that's Paul's wife. Deborah, come over here. She's new. They just moved down to New South Wales now. So this is Deborah. And then we've got the boys. Owen.
Come forward, guys.
Come on,
forward.
Ivan.
Come to the front here, guys.
That's it. Ivan, Zephaniah, and my grandkids.
This is the muscle behind the meal, right?
So, yeah, that's it. So I hope you all have a good, safe trip home.
Yep.
And we look forward to seeing you again.
Okay, yeah, thank you, everybody. And we hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, this is the first in the series. We have 2 more, same time, same venue. So next week and the week after. And we do this, we've endeavouring to do this. How long have we been doing this for, Lydia?
20 years.
20 years. And it's twice a year. It's in May, first 3 weeks of May and the first 3 weeks of
October.
October, yeah. First Monday nights. So that's what it's been doing. Just to mention in the beginning that the pandemic hit us, and unfortunately we weren't able to conduct these. But I think this is the first one since the pandemic. We actually did plan to do one.
We tried last year.
Last year, the May one, the one in. We did try to do one last year, and then
they closed down.
They closed down again. The borders, or not the borders, but the government closed everything down again. So we couldn't put it on. We'd already given out the invitations to it. Some of you may have got that, and we had to ring you up to tell you, I'm sorry, we can't hold it this time round. But we thank our Heavenly Father that we've been able to host this tonight, and that you've all come, and we're glad that you've enjoyed it. And we invite you to come back and let your friends know as well. As I said, it's a free community service. It's just because we enjoy helping others and with a better way to health. So with this now, I'd like feel free to bow your heads. We're just going to give a thanks to our Father above for the time here tonight. So let's just bow. Our dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much, Lord, for your great mercy and love to us. We thank you for the knowledge you've given to us, Lord, of what our bodies are made of and what's the best way to preserve them, and for the beautiful things you've given to us in the vegetable kingdom to make our lives healthy, long and enjoyable. And we thank you for the helpers here tonight. We thank you for everybody who's come. We trust that all will be blessed. You'll keep us, each one as we travel home now, keep us safe and bring us back together again, Father. We commit ourselves into your keeping, and we ask this in the name of thy dear Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Good night. God bless. Don't forget, the shop will be open after this meeting here downstairs. If you'd like to just have it's only a small shop there, but there might be some things there that you'll find quite interesting to take home with you. So thank you.
Just keep in mind also that next Monday is not the same menu. It's a different menu every Monday. So come back.
Yeah, every week we do a different menu, and sometimes we have special programs too. So we've done raw programs. We did that on a Sunday. Now they were workshops where you could come along and do a raw workshop with us. So we have different things like that happening as well. So keep in touch. If you like us actually to keep you informed as well, just leave your phone number or email. Just leave it with us, and we can keep you in touch when we do have other special programs on. So thank you, everybody. Good night, and God bless you.